Finally, I reached to the actual place where I'm going to start flying. So this is the area where I'm going to fly the plane. It's really realistic and the blue lighting gives a really good effect, and the seats just look amazing, the virtual seats. Here I go with my flight instructor. And the moment I entered into the cockpit, the feeling was just like the wow kind of feeling you get, like wow. Everything was just as I expected, everything was lighting up just as I expected. The buttons were all the ones I've seen before, and yeah, my heart was pounding like wow, it was mesmerizing. And now my flight instructor was telling me how to adjust my seat. So there's a lever there, you have to pull it up and then your seat moves forward. And then I put on my headsets, which allowed me to hear my pilot more clearly. So he's adding the heading of the plane, and now I'm adding it so that we know where we have to go, and it appears on the screen. So that's basically gonna help us navigate. Now the flight instructor is just doing the final tunings before the flight so that we are ready for takeoff. So we are currently at Dubai International Airport and we're going to do a circuit. So basically we're going to take off, fly, and then land back at Dubai. Now I've held the control column in my hands. It felt really amazing. It's takeoff time. We put the throttles to 90% so that the plane starts rolling forward, and there we go, we're off. A sense of thrill ran through my body at this moment, and it was breathtaking. That alarm is nothing. It's just a warning of, like, it's basically telling us that the plane's reaching the takeoff speed and now you have to rotate in a while. There. I've pulled the control column back and we have taken off into the sky. Let's go! So you can see the Burj Khalifa ahead of you and the rest of Dubai. I mean, it looks really amazing. It looks really realistic. So now I'm controlling the plane and turning it in a 180 degrees turn so that we can start our approach back into the airport. Reducing engine power so that the plane slows down and gets ready for landing. At this moment I could see the runway ahead of me. It was coming into view slightly to my left. That's why in a while I had to start turning left, and there, I'm turning left now. This is the runway. My landing was really disgusting. I mean, because it was my first landing. You can watch it. I even made a joke on it. I hope you like it. My first successful landing, and my flight instructor said you did everything properly, but you landed a bit too early on the runway. I mean, I was actually off the runway where you were not supposed to land. He said that maybe I could have increased engine power and glided the plane a bit more, but that's a different story. It's fine. The most important thing is we survived. So now we're moving on to circuit number 2, which is from Dubai International Airport in the evening to Macau International Airport. Now it's takeoff time. We're going to go full throttle so that we can quickly take off into the air. And by now I was actually used to the controls and what I was supposed to do. So the takeoff was a bit better than the last one, because I was familiar with all the things I have to do, and yeah, like how much throttle percentage I have to give and when I have to rotate the plane and stuff like that. Now we've reached a V1 speed. That basically means after this, whatever happens, you have to take off. You cannot land again. So we go take off. So you might be thinking why we can't land again. That's basically because there's not enough runway left for the plane to stop because it's already at a high speed. So I'll fast forward a bit until the landing part. Here we are at the landing. I mean, I messed up this landing a lot. I mean a lot. This time I landed really late on the runway. There was barely enough space to stop. And I landed much to the right. So you can watch it now. We somehow managed to stop the plane. We had to use much more braking than when we used it in Dubai to stop the plane before the end of the runway. And we successfully got it stopped. So that's the end of circuit number 2. Now we're just putting off the flaps, switching off the parking brakes, and there we go. We stopped. And now it's circuit number 3. From Macau to one of the world's most dangerous airports, which is actually not there anymore. You might know this airport. It's known as Kai Tak International Airport. So this is takeoff as usual. So let me just tell you a bit more about Kai Tak. So it's one of the most dangerous airports in the world. I mean, it's not a dangerous airport. It's just that the landing procedure into the airport is really dangerous. And the main reason for that is it is surrounded by buildings. And to avoid those buildings, you have to come in perpendicular to the runway. And then at the final moments, you have to make a sharp right turn. And in between these buildings over here, you can see some flashing lights. We have to follow those lights onto the runway. And you might hear a lot of alarms now, like this one that just set off. What happened was the autopilot failed. It got stuck at the wrong setting. So my flight instructor had to take control of the plane. He had to change the heading, switch off the autopilot. And then we were about to stall because we were really low. So we had to go almost full power again. But we managed to land safely. So the autopilot actually got stuck at altitude hold. So what that means is the plane's not going to go up or down. It's just going to continue straight at that same level. And very surprisingly, this was the softest landing even though it had an emergency. I guess because my flight instructor helped me. He was really helpful and really friendly. Finally, a soft landing. I mean, it felt really good to finally land the plane softly. And more realistically. And now I'm just getting the plane aligned to the center so that we can stop there. And yes, we are here at the center. And this was the last flight of my flight simulator. And as the saying goes, all good things have to come to an end. I mean, I was feeling sad and happy at the same time. But yeah, I mean, I wasn't feeling like leaving the cockpit. It had been a really great time and I just didn't want to leave this place. It could have been longer, but yeah. And what I did, that was actually how you switch off the seatbelt signs. So that whenever you guys are going on a plane, you can exit. That's how the pilot does it. And then finally, the moment came which I wasn't exactly looking forward to. The time to exit the cockpit. And now my flight instructor just told me, we'll go out, collect your certificate, and then you can have a look at the gift shop. And just so that you don't forget your experience here with these guys, they gave me a certificate and they gave it to everybody so that you can remember your flight with them. It was really a great moment for me receiving that. And now I'll give you a tour of their gift shop. They have some really amazing souvenirs so that you don't forget your experience here at Flight Experience Singapore. And I was also really lucky to get to buy something my parents allowed me to. I bought a cup that looks like an engine and a lanyard. You'll just see it in a moment. Here's the cup. If you look at it from side, it looks like an engine, and that's the lanyard. I think you guys should try it as well. I mean, it was really worth it. My flight instructor was really friendly. He was very amazing. He explained everything to me very nicely, and he answered all of my questions. I have no idea what to say right now. I mean, during these hard times, I was not able to go flying at all, and after I went here, I mean, really, the experience was just amazing. I felt like I'm really flying. I couldn't tell the difference between the simulation and the real life.